Okay, what is happening, everybody? SmartHelping.com here. I'm Jay, and it's Wednesday. Normally we stream Monday and Tuesday, but today we shifted back a day. This is the property management business financial model we've been working on. We'll keep doing that today. Also, note this template will be added to, it actually fits a lot of bundles. It'll be added to the software as a service bundle, it'll be added to the real estate bundle, it'll be added to the um, industry specific financial models, and I just realized it completely fits in the service businesses bundle because you're providing, you know, property management services. So that completely fits into this category as well. So we'll add it there. Remember, if you want to buy all the templates on the smarthelping.com, you can do that for $9.99. That's lifetime access for everything I ever build in the future and obviously everything I built. You can also check out more templates here and have a ball. Um, let's see. Send a link out to Twitter. Let's see. Send a What's up, Twitter? Live financial modeling, property management business. So I actually put a tweet out this morning asking any property management companies what they prefer as far as um, their revenue. If they base it on a per unit basis, if they just have a flat fee they charge their customers. Let's say you've got a, uh, the the client says, hey, I've got, 3 buildings, this many units, this, and that, and then you come up with a monthly price and you just charge a single price per month for the customer. So there's a bunch of different ways I believe you could do this. So yesterday I was talking about doing 3 different types of customers with all these different configurations. I think I might stick to one, but allow for 3 different revenue options. For example, we'll have a drop down that says revenue basis, and it could be, you can pick, let's see, we would call these percentage of rent or flat monthly fee or what was the other way? Percentage of rent, flat monthly fee, or um, per unit fee. So those are the 3 ways I believe are the most common that would fit almost any scenario. And based on what I was reading yesterday, and that's just for the general property management fee. You could also have other fees, like there was like 5 or 6 different potential revenue streams. So this is just the main one we're modeling now. I think I'm just going to keep one here, but then have the ability for you to charge a flat monthly fee per customer, a percentage of total rent under management as your fee, which would be this, or a per unit fee, which we haven't put in yet. Um, and we'll put here, so there's only one client, so we don't need to put client one assumptions. This is just uh, revenue configuration. Um, okay, so, and we also want to, so if you are doing rent based on percentage of rent, you're going to want to know what the rent is over time on the clients that you add based on their starting monthly rent. So this is going to be part of this, and we'll call this actually fee as a percentage of rents. So this is one way to do it. This is contract length. So what you can do also, what I'm modeling is you can define what your retention rate is over what amount of months. So if you have property management clients come in and say, okay, I want to do this, this, and that for X amount of months, and then they have an option to renew or not, and then this is a percentage of chance that the cohort will renew. And then based on that, we've done all this kind of modeling here to calculate the value of a monthly added cohort over the life of the model. We've got right now just rent under management. We're going to have some other stuff here. This is their retention curves over time based on when they joined and the age of that they've been a customer. We've got all kinds of stuff in here to reference. So I think that makes the most sense to just have a single type, and we have a lot of options for that single type of customer. And remember, you have the option to adjust the monthly rent on average per client added on a monthly basis, and then the unit count as well. So this is pretty dynamic on a monthly level. Remember, up here is the annual goal of clients added, and you can put the percentage of that goal achieved in each month, and that will define how many clients you're adding per month. And then this is your configuration about the clients, and this is deeper configuration. So annual rent growth, fee as a percentage of rents, that's one type, so that would be your percentage of rent basis. Now let's say you want to do flat monthly fee. We could say flat monthly fee per client option. And this gets tricky because you're going to need to define the costs related to this flat monthly fee. And I believe there's some ways that that can be modeled, but we'll focus on that after we finish the revenue. So let's say your flat monthly fee, maybe you're charging 5,000 or I can't remember what the standard yearly rate was. I think it was like 20,000 was enterprise, but lower was like 1 to 5,000 a year. So let's say, a number might be $250 a month per client to manage all of their. Essentially, a property management is going to collect rents, but then they might do all kinds of other services. So that's what we have to. That's going to be all accounted for. So this is collecting revenue as a percentage of rents, collecting revenue as a flat fee. And this flat fee would have to correspond to it would have to make sense with the customers being added and how, you know, many units you're managing. So we have that option. Now what's the last one? Oh yeah, per unit fee. So if you're going to do per unit fee, and that just means however many units you have under management, you're charging a fixed dollar amount per unit. Let's say, some number. I don't know how often that might be used, but I know you might base your monthly fee on this, and so it might be easier to just do your revenue based on defining this per unit instead of trying to calculate it here. But I think it's worth it. We'll have all three types. So depending on which one you choose here, that will define what the model actually uses as the basis for revenue. And we'll put this up top because this is your main decision. This is like, you have to pick that, and then that will drive all of this other stuff. So we'll give this a little indent. Okay, revenue configuration, revenue basis, percentage of rent, flat monthly fee, and we'll just put, so we have it labeled here, percentage of rent option. Then we have flat monthly fee. And then what do we label this one? per unit fee. We already have that. Actually, let's just make these exactly the same as the drop down. Okay, and then this is more configurations. Now, to do this, we need to figure out how many units are under management if we want to charge this way. And to do that, we're going to have to add another cohort down here. And so this is going to be a simple calculation, which 1, 2 units managed. And that will simply be the percentage of the cohort remaining times the number of customers that joined in that cohort. So there, that gives us a total customers left. We also want to times by the starting unit count, which will be this. And then the month we choose would be the month joined, and we have that, not the age, not that. We have that here. I think I have to reference the whole row. Yep. So what we would do on this one is say match the max of this value, this row. This is the cohort, the monthly cohort. We want to match that with our month here, and that should do it. And if error, this is not a cohort, nobody joined in month 1, so if error, throw back a 0. And then let's see, that can go, this needs to be locked. We're pulling row 10, which is the unit count times or match against the number of customers for that month. So you got unit count or customers added, average unit count per customer added. You've got the retention rate. And let's check this calculation. Okay, so 25, and then 23 as it goes down, because you're losing some customers on the renewal period, 90%, and then you're taking, so month 4 is our month, and then 1 is the cohort count. Okay, that looks good. 50, 45. Okay, does 50 make sense? So in month 5, we added 2 customers. Let's say if they were 30, that would then be 60. Okay, good, 60. And then you're losing 10%, I believe. What's our retention? 90% every 12 months. Okay, this looks great. Let's drag this over. And then now we have an easy calculation to know, well, here's our total units under management over time based on adding customers, the unit counts of the customers added, and what we're charging per unit possibly for that revenue, which you multiply this number here. So that's by this number. So that will work. The flat monthly fee, this would be simply you multiply this number by the customers remaining. So each customer is paying you that much per month. So that's that option. So you have this option, this option. You also have percentage of rent and rent growth, and that's where we had a lot of calculations. Like here, you've got rent under management, which is multiplying the starting rent amount raised to whatever the rent growth is based on the period, the age for compounding growth rate on the rent, and then we are, and then times, what are we multiplying here? Age. Start month tells us the count added, I'm assuming. Let's see, what's 190? We're indexing row 12 and 377, which is 377 customer count here. Okay. So we have customer counts remaining times the starting rent. So however many customers are remaining times the starting rent, and then that rent start is going to be also raised based on whatever this growth rate is. And then this percentage is the fee. And we'll put like, we could put labels on this. So this is, we'll put a note. This is percentage of rent captured as property management fees. Okay, so this all seems great so far. We did this. Now, we have three ways to forecast revenues. Based on this drop down, one of the three will be chosen. The question is, what do we do about variable expenses? And I think the best option might be defining how much, what your monthly cost is per customer. And so we can define, well, we know how many customers exist, and each month we're spending X on those customers. Now that X could be, and we're going to put a different tab here for, let's see. Let's see here. Do we want a separate tab for costs? So what we can say is variable costs, and we'll have a row here also saying, I know this is a revenue assumption, but we kind of want to see what the variable cost is per customer. So what you are charging your customer needs to obviously be a bit more than what it costs you to service. Now, let's see if we can find the data we had over here. How does this, which I can't remember which site we went to. Let's see, management fees, one of the most common right? Obviously, management fees is where you're charging to manage the property. It's not the only source of income, correct? Companies charge which is 7 to 10. Okay, so here, most property management companies charge as much as 7 to 10% of the collected rent as a management fee. So we have that all built out. We have all the logic required to do that here with this, this section. Okay, so that's really good. That works great. Now the question is, what else do we want to put in here? So we can put in a cost per month per customer. and then we could put a detailed schedule of what is going to create those costs as well. Most property companies charge management fees on rent every month, regardless of whether the property is occupied or not. If you are working with a property management company or looking to start out as a property manager, you may want to consider the market more closely to determine the best policy to use. Yep, language is important in your contracts for how you set it up. Um, you want to put in there that the percentage of rent is based on the value of the rent, not the actual rent captured, so that if for whatever reason the owners are not collecting rent for a month or two for whatever reason, you still make your percentage based on the amount of rent, the value of the rent that was supposed to be collected. Another way the partner companies make their money is through sign up or lease fee. Okay, so right. And this is so the difference between sign up fee and lease fee is quite simple. Sign up fee is an amount that the property owner pays up front, right? So we're going to definitely put that in, and we can easily figure that out based on the clients added per month and that one-time fee. So let's move this down actually. And let's put a little side thing here. So these are all this section is to choose which primary method is used for management fees. There are 3 options and only one works at a time. Okay, so that's fine. So you can charge your general property management fee is going to be based on most likely a percentage of rents. That's what I've seen on 3 or 4 different sources. Maybe you charge a fixed monthly fee per existing customer or client. That potentially is, or maybe you charge a fee per unit under management. So you can pick one of these 3 in the drop down, and that's how the model will run. This is just about customer retention. So this is going to be relevant for a bunch of different aspects. So we're just putting that down here. And now we will also have another revenue source. And we'll call this secondary revenue. Now, what is secondary revenue? Well, one-time sign-up fee. And this isn't meaning everyone has to do this, but it depends on your property management company policies. Let's say you want to charge every time you sign up a new customer. There's probably going to be implementation fees, costs for all of that. So you want to say, well, I want to charge a fee to sign the customer. They have to pay to get signed up. Maybe it's $2,000 or whatever. It'll probably depend on the size and difficulty. Now, that will also have a corresponding cost. And what we'll do here is implementation costs. So every time you implement a new customer, you're going to have a potential for a cost. And we're going to actually put all this on a different tab. We'll do, so yeah, this variable cost tab is going to be completely variable cost. And then we'll have fixed cost assumptions as well. What was 14 Calibri? Okay. All right, so potentially a one-time sign-up fee. It should be some number that's higher than or offsets your cost to implement if you want to, or if you're charging a certain amount here and you think that is maybe you're charging a little bit more, but you're not charging one-time fees. That's also an option for our strategy. But this is going to be populated if you put a number in here. It's not mutually exclusive with these other items. These are mutually exclusive. This is not. This is not. Let's see, what else do we got here? Charging $30 per application fee per applicant depending on the location. The mathematics at the end of the day is amazing because a property management company that, for example, charges $50 per applicant as the application fee stands a chance to make as much as $500 on a single home if 10 families show interest in the property. Wait, oh, whoops, wrong. I was reading the wrong section. So sign up fee we did. What's the lease fee? The difference between sign-up and lease fee is quite simple. Sign-up fee is an amount that property owners make up front. Property management company in hopes that they will find a tenant to occupy the space. So this means the property management fee has connections, or they might advertise or do whatever to try to help fill get the units occupied, which is going to be a cost. There's a cost there. This fee is usually contribution towards the marketing aspects, marketing aspects. And what we can do is also put that one-time fee in, so when they sign up, there's that one-time fee cost and then a fee charged for that. Okay, so that's fine. On the other hand, a lease fee is paid after the property has been leased out to a new tenant. In most cases, property management companies charge anything between 30 to 50% of the first month's rent as a sign-up fee or lease fee. So I believe, let's think about this. Lease fee. I think it makes sense that can be kind of in this one-time sign-up fee, because we're assuming that the clients that get added are going to be successfully leased out. So, or they're going to be occupied, so that whatever that one-time fee is, it can kind of fit in there with um, whatever amount you want to put in. All right, application fees. Many property management companies see application fees as a huge moneymaker. This is because the fee is paid with no guarantees. Some property management companies may charge between $30 to $60 as application fee per applicant depending on the location. That is amazing, because a property management company for example, charges $50 per applicant as an application fee. Stands a chance to make as much as $500 on a single home if 10 families show interest. Okay, so this is actually huge here. So this application fee, and let me look more on that. So property management companies application fee. Let's look at this. Rental application fees. So rental fees can create a lot of questions for landlords and tenants alike. Landlords understand the importance of collecting these fees, but they may be confused about what limits they must follow. Potential tenants, on the other hand, may not understand what the fees are. For landlords, the most important thing to understand is the answers vary widely and dictate. See, 11. Fees are collected by landlords alongside a rental application, who must pay rental application fees. Every state has specific laws that will be explored more thoroughly. Every person who will be on the lease must pay a rental application fee. Some landlords may waive fees for secondary renters, but what is an application fee when renting but a way to cover costs of background checks and other associated costs. Okay, so if you're hiring a property management company, they're going to have to do like the background checks and everything else. So they're the ones getting the fee. Okay. Yeah, so you're charging that fee because you're providing the service for the landlord. So what we can say here is let's think about this. Application fees. Let's say it's $50. Now the question is, based on the unit data we have here, would it make sense to say, well, if I sign on 25 units with this customer that joined, is there then 50 times 25 application fees, because there's 25 separate units, or it could be 3 units or 10 units or whatever. And then does that at each renewal? So for example, we're saying that there's a 90% retention and there's 12-month contracts. So here is, let's see, where's our customer count? Let's say we had 10 let's say this was 100 and we had 10 sign up. So this 10 in 12 months, now there's only 9. Do the 9 that are still there that renew the lease, is there another fee that they have to pay? And let's look at that. And our lease, our, let's just type in lease renewal fees. The percentage of rent charged as a lease renewal fee is often lower than the percentage taken for a new lease, although you'll find management companies that charge 100% of a month's rent for the lease renewal fee as well. In other words, your lease renewal fee may be up to equivalent to 1 month's rent. Okay, so for sure. So that means every time at the end of the 12 months, these leases are up. We got not of this 10 that initially joined in month 4, 9 renew their lease. Now, hold on. Let's think about what we're saying here. We have 10 customers, and this is the customers of the property management company. So now if you have 9, that means you had 10. Here in month 4, you had 10 with 25 units each. So technically there was 250 units under management. And now one of your clients dropped. So now you have 9 times 25, and it's assuming you have 225 tenants renewing their lease. So then you're charging a fee on lease renewals on all those that that renewed their lease. So it's not saying that this is not looking at occupancy. We might need to put in occupancy just so, but we have rent here. So this starting monthly rent is just this could be after vacancies, but the unit count is before vacancies. If we're going to do lease renewals, I think it does make sense to account for some vacancy rate. So when we have our units under management, we'll do this and then we'll do vacancy assumption and then the actual unit because that's going to be relevant for these lease renewal costs. So let's say lease renewal every 12 months per unit, you're charging $500 as the property management company. Now, there also could be, let's see, is there going to be costs? There's going to be costs for turnover. Let's think about this now. So if you've got 25 units, I'm thinking, does it make sense to charge a monthly a fee at the end of each renewal based on the turnover? Because this also can get tricky because let's say you do have vacancies. So you've got 250 units managed. Now you've lost one of your property management customers, but it has nothing to do with the unit. You have less units under management, but this is not saying anything about the units that stayed other than there's 225 units there. The question is maybe 5 left. Maybe your vacancy rate's 90 or 10%. So maybe 20 left and you had to refill 20 spots. Now the question is, are you incurring a cost at the end of on that renewal for this monthly cohort? And I believe yes, the answer yes. So we have a dollar value charge to every single unit that renews. Now this is a huge this would be a huge fee. Let me look up lease renewal fees, property management company let's look here. What percentage? A monthly general management fee typically falls between 8 and 10% of the monthly rent for a single family home. Flat rates are rare for monthly fee. Okay, so flat rates are rare, but possible. But the main thing is you charge a percentage of the monthly rent. Now, is that supposed to cover like all of this other stuff? Most property management companies charge a monthly fee, 8 to 12% of the monthly rent collected if the rent on your home is $200 per month. Okay, let's look at this here. Percentage of monthly rent, we've done all of this. This is great. This works fine. We also have potentially a one-time sign-up fee. If the property is vacant, management companies generally charge a fixed fee or a fee equivalent to anticipated monthly rent once a property is leased. Vacant properties sometimes require more work for the management companies, such as weekly inspection, break-ins. Okay. Offer a fixed fee structure. Yep, okay. Okay, what about additional property? Sometimes property management company may charge for additional services beyond above and beyond the monthly fee. So contract setup fee. Okay. So this contract setup fee, this is just saying, you're a landlord that owns whatever amount of properties. You're going to pay this one-time fee for the property management company to come in and get you all set up. Just one time at the beginning, and that's it. And that will be multiplied by the number of clients added per month. I don't know about application fees and lease renewal fees. I'm trying to still figure out about this. Most property management companies will charge a one-time setup fee. Managing a vacant property can be more labor intensive. Leasing vacant property. The best property management companies will have an established network of trusted vendors for all-inclusive maintenance. So if you're doing upgrades, the property management company will charge a 10% fee on that. Okay, all right. All right, so let's try to think of a broad way to do this. So I believe this is all fine. This is all relevant to keep. We need retention rate on the contract types for a landlord that's going to sign up with your property management company. Um, One-time sign-up fee, that makes sense. Now here's where we get weird. I think we just, instead of doing like application and lease renewals, we're going to assume these are all inclusive. Either um, it's either just a wash, like the property management company is just going to charge exactly what it costs for the landlord to do these like background checks or whatever it takes, and it's just a wash. You're not going to make a profit on it, or it's just going to be inclusive of these other like the ongoing fee that you're just charging. However, so this, I believe we want to put, if you're going to supply repairs and maintenance, if you're going to provide that service, that's like above and beyond just simple property management for like collecting rent and handling all of the applications and everything else. Um, you might be charging a monthly fee on average based on the average size of these units the landlord's coming on with. You're going to charge the landlord as a whole X dollars a month, let's say $500 a month. And now you're going to have to also estimate on the variable cost side. So item, we're going to have a bunch of different costs here. So cost per new client on board, and we'll put in notes, I guess, probably as well for this. Amount. So every time there's an onboard, you're going to collect this from the landlord, but you're going to also have an expense of whatever, maybe $500, or it depends. Variable cost. So cost per new client onboard, we have monthly maintenance cost per unit under management. I think this is easier than trying to just estimate a flat fee, because this could be 25 or 1,000 or 1 or 3 or whatever. So I think breaking it down into a per unit under management, so it could be a single family home, or it could be a building with 10 units. So if it was a single family home, you could put a 1, and here is the expected maintenance costs the property management company is going to incur, and here's what they're going to charge as an extra fee to the landlord. Now, this is probably more applicable in like multifamily situations, apartment buildings, buildings with like 10, 15 units, or 5 or more units, but it needs to be an option that you can always zero it out if it doesn't apply. So let's say, you know, you're $1,200 a month, sorry, $250 a month cost, you're charging $500 for that as a service. And that will just be charged per the customer count, or per the unit count. So it actually might be lower, maybe $25 a unit, and then repairs and maintenance monthly fee per unit. So if it costs you 25, maybe you're charging 30. $30 a month per unit. It's an extra fee on top of this because it's for repairs and maintenance. And I think those are the two major ones. We have this, the regular fee you charge, the one-time fee for onboarding option, and then repairs and maintenance. I don't believe it's necessary to put in, and then we have the cost onboarding here. We have the monthly maintenance. I don't know how necessary it is. What were these other ones? Inspection fees, repairs and maintenance, and then the regular property management fee. Now, I believe that's enough. Let's look at this again one more time. Many property management companies see application fees as a huge moneymaker. This is because this fee is paid with no guarantee. Some property management companies may charge between $30 and $60 as application fee per applicant, depending on the location. The mathematics at the end of the day is amazing because a property management company that, for example, charges $50 per applicant as an application fee stands a chance to make as much as $500 on a single home. All right. Well, so how do we implement that? I mean, we'd have to put like, Let's think here. Okay, so application fees. If you're onboarding a customer that already has units active, I don't know, like they probably already have background checks and all that. If it's a new property, and this is a property, if you're onboarding a landlord that is got a brand new multifamily building, the question is, what you all those application fees, I guess the management company will handle, and they charge a certain amount, and it costs them a certain amount on top of the general onboarding fee that they're charging per customer. And also, let's say you have 25 units. What if on average 3 people apply to each unit? You've now got, 75 application fees that happen here. But it's only going to be on turnover or initially signing up. So let's think about this. Let's put in here application fees. I think this is important. Let's say an average application fee is $50. And on average, to do background checks, whatever, average cost of application fee. Let's say, I don't know, I'm just making up a number. Let's say it's $15 and you're charging $50. Now the question is, how do we define how many applications are being submitted? What even makes remote sense here? Is what I have to try to think about. Let's go back and put this at 10% for the first 10 months. All right, so we've got 10, and let's put this back to 10. So let's say we have one customer being added. They have 25 units. So our property management company is now managing 25 units. The average rent's $35,000 a month. Between those units, you're charging a percentage of the rent, probably for revenue, probably not a monthly fee and not a fee per unit. So we'll probably pick percentage of rents. Fine. Applications. If it's new, you need to multiply this 25 units times the average number of applicants per unit. So we need average number of applicants per unit. However, we also need to make sure we're defining on a given month how many units, what percentage of units are having new or turnover. And I think like there's no way to fit this perfectly to every single situation, but I think it might make sense to say the initial onboard, you have a percentage, so percentage of units requiring app requiring new percentage of units, percentage of newly onboarded units requiring applicants. So let's say if it's 100%, then we say, okay, all this landlord is these are all new. We're going to charge. We have to fill 25 units. It's going to be that we define. Okay, well, 100% of that. So all 25 are going to have to be filled. And let's say the average application fee, percentage of newly onboarded units requiring applicants. And then we also have to put average applicants applying per unit, and maybe it's 3, because maybe sometimes it's 10, maybe sometimes it's 2, whatever, or 1. Let's say it's 3, so then you'll do 25 initially onboarded. I'll times it by this percentage times this count times this dollar value. Now, I believe we need a secondary metric because you have the initial applicants could be much higher, and then okay, these are all onboarded, they're filled. Now, over time, what's the turnover like on these units? And we can say on average after the unit's been signed up. So we have unit cohorts here. So this is the total units under management over time for all the customers that were signed up in month 1, all the landlords that were signed up. Here's the total units. We have the initial count, which we charge a number to, and then the question is, what do we charge over time? What makes sense? Do we just make it every 12 months? Do we assume every 12 months there's turnover from the start month? Do we assume some percentage, like 1% of the total units have turnover every single month? So in a year, that's 12%. Because people might move out, they might break the lease or whatever. If it's a 12-month lease, they could still move out. So I think for this, we simply say, and I believe we do, this is 100% necessary. We say this is, so one-time setup fee, repairs and maintenance, application fees, then application fees ongoing. And this is application fees initial onboard. And if the landlords you're signing up are typically already fully occupied, then this number might just be the same. These numbers might be the same as these. But if not, we say ongoing, $50 application fee. But now we say percentage of units under management requiring requiring new applicants. So we have to say, well, based on the units under management, there's going to be some amount of that percentage every month that have to be turned over, and that is going to be, let's say it's 1%, and then you can still have the same number here. Average applicants applying per unit. Could be the same, could be different. We'll put a second input for that just in case it's different. So there's application fees. I think that all makes sense. What now for costs? So we have application fee cost, we have maintenance cost, we have that. Trying to think if I'm missing any other big major thing. I think we also need a general, let's say your property management company that has to pay for software that does all the work for this top section. I think it makes sense to say, and let's put these in order. So we have the first top section is going to be this. And then we'll put average monthly cost per let's call it per unit. I think it makes more sense again, even though like we have customers here, we want to make the size of units because the software that you're using might charge per unit in the system, and you don't want to have to manually change that you want to just base on the unit count here. So whatever that might be, let's say it's $5. And this is your property management cost of goods sold for providing software. So this generally applies to the cost of the software used to help manage the landlord's tenants. Okay, so if you were saying, well, it's just $500 a month, or if let's say it's just $80 a month, the software cost, then you would just put 80 and average units is 25. So you could put 3.2 in here for this number, and then if you put 3.2 in here, it would just apply to that number, and you'd get your cost. And then the revenue side of that is just that's your main property management fee revenue, like for the primary source. All these other sources, sign up fees, yes, you might have those. This is secondary. If you're going to provide extra repair and maintenance fees, you might charge extra dollar amount per unit managed, and then application fees. And I believe that hits on the majority of the revenue that needs to be um, calculated. Now for variable costs, so we have average monthly cost per unit managed. Then we have cost per new client on board. Let's put this is a one-time cost per new client on board. Monthly maintenance cost per unit under management. And average cost of application fee. Okay, this is really good progress. We have a lot of stuff going on here. This is really good. Okay, well, that is about all I've got for you today. Remember, this template is going to be actually included in the SaaS bundle, the real estate bundle, industry specific bundle, and the service businesses bundle. So all these bundles, I'm going to include it in there at smarthelping.com. Remember, you can buy all the sheets on the whole entire site for $9.99. Great value and deal there. And I'll see you guys, well, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. By the way, if you stuck around this long, congratulations. It is my birthday today. I didn't want to say at the beginning. I figured I'd say at the end. So happy birthday to me. And I hope you guys have a great week. I might stream tomorrow too because I'm kind of excited to get this model going. It's pretty cool. I think this all makes a lot of sense. And yeah, we'll keep going on this one, possibly streaming for a third bonus day tomorrow, or if not, I'll be back into it Monday. Have a great rest of your day.